neighbours are your best friends. They're always welcome through your door. But please don't piss us off. Remember, we pay for your floor.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the We Pay For Your Floor podcast. I'm Phil.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Sarah.
And joining us this week as our very special guest is one of my best friends, one of my favourite people in the entire world who you cannot see, but I'm gesturing to her anyway. It is Elizabeth! Hello, Lizzie!
Greetings, mere mortals.
She is joining us from the other side of England
Yes.
via
Fair
a video
Norfolk.
call.
Fair Norfolk.
Fair Norfolk. Where incest runs rampant.
Do you know what? It's to their advantage though, because I hear webbed fingers is a lot easier to swim with. So.
I actually heard that, like, a few years ago that Barnsley overtook Norwich for the highest rate of incest. So
Yeah, to be fair, you've got a point.
that's basically on your doorstep.
Yeah, that's
gonna say,
true
I'm
actually.
surprised.
No, that is that is a good point. Yeah.
If I didn't know anything about the actual statistics, if someone said to me, "Oh, which part of England would you say is the most incesty?" I would have probably said Barnsley.
Who are you having these conversations with?
Me nan!
Oh yeah, you mean Gladys. Hello, love. Just out of interest, who do you think's the most incesty district in the UK?
Why do you want to know now? I've got me reasons!
Got me reason.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Barnsley.
Anyway. So, Sarah, you said you had a minigame for us.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Oh, no,
God.
sorry,
No.
Phil.
Phil.
So on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the lost rhombus of Torquay.
My auntie lives in Torquay.
Does she live in a rhombus?
Missing.
Not as far as I know, but maybe she is hiding it somewhere.
I'm gonna sound really thick. Remind me what a rhombus looks like.
It's a
Well, let's-
shape.
Oh,
Let's start basically. Do you know what a parallelogram is?
yes.
Okay,
Parallel
so
sides.
just squash it a little bit and you've got a rhombus.
Okay. Squashed parallelogram. Okay.
I was
Square
gonna
version
say-
of a parallelogram.
I was going to say it's like a square, but you like tilt it a bit.
It's a drunk square.
Yeah.
I
exactly.
understand that.
But
Yeah.
before we get too deep into squashed quadrilaterals, Sarah, how's your floor?
It's neither right nor left. It's either horizontal or vertical. I've forgotten again.
Which way does the horizon go?
Oh, horizontal. That is fucking clever.
You are welcome.
Thank you. Oh, that's
Arigato
useful.
gozaimasu.
Arigato gozaimasu. That's
Okay,
yes.
but if a horizon is horizontal, then that implies that there's something called a verticon.
Oh, that's a fair point. That is a fair point.
What's
I mean,
that?
You
Where
have
is it?
vertebrae in your spine and they go up.
Ah, that's a good point.
We're
You've just
learning so
blown
much
her
today.
I just saw her expression then, which was like, oh,
Yeah, her eyes just widened like an, oh my god, he's right!
he's only fucking right.
The one time.
Horizontal, horizon, vertical. So my floor. Yep, it's
Still there.
It's
It
still there.
exists.
It exists.
It is,
It's
in,
horizontal.
it is in the real plane.
It
is
is
not,
a plane.
It has not disappeared
horizontal.
into the ethereal world.
No, not with the rhombus.
Not with the rhombus. It hasn't joined the rhombus
No,
yet.
no, no. Yes, all right, thanks.
Good.
Good to know.
Good to know there's been no seepage.
No seepage. How's your floor, Liz?
My floor, been better. Could probably do with investing in a steam mop at some point.
You know what?
It's
You know
just my kitchen and my bathroom. The rest of my flat is carpeted, but yeah, there are stains on this thing from like months ago.
All I'm
just
hearing
chilling.
is it as a form as a metaphor. That's all I'm thinking. There's stains there.
I mean,
a bit
it's-
months old.
It's fine. We don't pay for your floor. It can be in whatever state you want it to be.
That is true.
I haven't met who pays for my floor, so that's interesting.
Ah.
The people whose floor I pay for, now that's a different story.
Oh, dear.
They like to do karaoke late at night, which
Nice.
isn't fun.
What
No,
sort
it's
of
not.
what sort of talent are we talking? Are we talking Cher? Are we talking Steps? What are we?
Are we talking screeching
we're
back
talking
at cats?
Holly Big Mouth from the X Factor.
Oh.
She had the giant mouth.
I remember.
I don't wanna
I
poke
vaguely
fun at her.
remember her. Because when she got rejected, she was like, I have sung at holiday parks all around this country.
Oh dear.
My manager can't be wrong. 20,000 people can't be wrong. And Simon was like, I don't care.
Oh shit.
Simon's a
You know what I've noticed though, like with X Factor, or at least with the earlier seasons, because I found myself going back and just, you know, you fall into those YouTube rabbit holes.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you're just clicking on stuff for ages. And I was watching some of the old auditions, and back in the day, Simon had this reputation for being really nasty. But like, what I've come to realise is he's the only one who takes it seriously.
He is, it's true though.
Louis and Sharon were terrible. It was like when me and you get together, Andrew.
Oh no, you are absolutely right. Like, that's one of mine and Phil's favourite, and one of the only ones we ever actually go back and rewatch was that one of Penelope, who was from Barcelona.
No.
Oh, I love Barcelona.
Literally the only reason she got through is because she had Sharon and Louis creased over crying with laughter. Because the way she sounded like a very, I don't want to say a thick Spanish accent, but you could hear it.
Yeah.
And for some reason they found it really funny.
Oh.
So Simon was trying to be logical and be like, no, maybe I don't think you're quite good enough, so it's going to be a no from me. Because they found it so funny, they were like, it's a yes for me! And then when Simon was like, why did you do that? And Louis was like, oh, she was good fun. She was very good fun.
I think they don't care. They've already been paid at that point.
That's a very fair point,
I
to be
wouldn't give
fair.
a shit at that point as well. Yeah.
I mean, not like they need the money.
I
to
don't.
Be
I
fair.
think the last time I watched it was when I think I'm even thinking of the wrong one. You know, do you remember Gareth Gates and Will Young?
That was Pop Idol.
That was Pop
In
Idol.
2002.
That's the last
I was
time I
about
watched
6.
it. Yeah.
I was still in love with him though. Like,
Will
I was
Young or-
6, but I knew.
Which one? Gareth or Will?
Gareth, yeah.
Yeah. It was the spiky hair, wasn't it? It was the short spiky hair that was like the
And he had a
tat.
stutter, and he
Yeah.
got better at it, and
Yeah.
I was just so proud of him.
He's the one
Of
that
the
did
17-year-old boy.
Yeah. Wasn't he? I think I better leave right now, and he never fucking does. Is that music video?
Yeah, I think.
I better
No, that's
leave.
Will.
Is
Will
that
did, I
Will?
think, right
Oh,
now.
okay, yeah.
Gareth did Spirit in the Sky. Or a cover of it anyway.
Oh, I don't
Going
know.
on up to the Spirit
That's-
in the
No,
Sky.
Gareth did this cover of Unchained Melody, and that was probably the first time that I heard that song. So, yeah.
You know what, Lutz?
The one from Ghost?
I think so.
With the part, oh my love.
Oh, that's Unchained Melody. Yes,
my
yes.
darling.
I do know that song. Speaking of which, though, I actually had this down as a podcast topic idea, and you mentioning falling down the rabbit hole of it got me thinking. And it's something we've had a discussion about before, Liz. And I know you don't
That
like
means that it can't be at all savoury.
I know you don't like this term, and I'm going to use the term just because it's the one that most people will know. Out of the four of us here, what are your guilty pleasures?
Ooh.
I never feel guilty about pleasure.
And that's exactly you
Drop
you,
the mic and walk away.
Literally, you told me about that, and I completely agree.
I like that.
I don't like the term guilty pleasure. It's like, if you enjoy something, why should you feel bad about enjoying it?
Yeah.
Once you stop feeling guilty, it just opens your world.
Where's the fun in that? Where's the fun?
Where's the fun in not bullying people for their tastes?
I believe that's the basis of our entire
I
relationship.
love my
That's the basis of
self-loathing.
the
How dare you try and come between us?
Yeah.
No, Lizzie, come back! No, my
Guilty
therapist said
pleasures.
you're bad for me.
Guilty pleasures. Guilty pleasures. Killing people? Would that not be a guilty
I think
pleasure?
that's just guilt.
Oh,
I wouldn't say it's a
okay.
pleasure.
Yeah, that is, wow.
I mean, actually, no, if you did take pleasure in that, I would say you probably should feel guilty about that. In this one instance, the term guilty pleasure does apply.
If you feel pleasurable about it, do you actually feel guilty about it? Does that make sense? Does that
Well,
make
it's
sense?
like this whole idea of like, oh, it's something that you shouldn't really like because society deems it to be crap or shit or whatever.
To be fair,
Yeah, it's like in the most shallow sense. So it's like
Yeah,
just
that's a
off
good
the
point.
top of my head, like Twilight.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's actually
Like
a good
everybody
point.
says it's shit, so like you don't want to be seen to like it because like that means that you are also shit.
Yeah.
That wasn't put very eloquently.
I know what you
Point.
mean. Yeah.
No, I completely understand, because
Yeah.
the same applies for Sonic the Hedgehog games.
Which is your guilty pleasure.
Yeah, I love Sonic the Hedgehog,
Just
but
pleasure.
he is utterly shit. He is basically a shambling corpse and has been for the past 20 years.
See, I was thinking mine would be, because I was trying to think of like some music examples. So like, my first thing that always comes to mind is when I was younger. This really probably should have been a sign that I was going to turn out the queer I am today. I loved Girls Aloud. I loved Girls Aloud.
I remember how much you loved Girls Aloud, and I remember when you thought you were straight, like, which ones were your favourite?
I still remember I thought Nicola was I mean, she still is my favourite, but I thought I had a crush on her and I didn't.
Yeah.
I just looked up to her.
Big dick energy.
Big dick,
That's
exactly.
what it was.
Big
Yeah,
dick energy.
yeah.
So I used to love Girls Aloud when I was a kid, and that was like a guilty pleasure. Whereas now I'm like, yeah, I like Girls Aloud's music, and I don't give a shit. It's not the main music I listen to, but I still like it. And if it comes on, I'm not turning it off.
Do you know-
I think it's a bop.
It's an interesting question. It depends how old you are, I think. Because, like,
yes.
we've had the conversation before, I think, where you get to a certain age, you do not give a shit anymore. So you don't feel guilty about fuck all, you know?
Yes.
If you asked a teenager, like a 13-year-old now, said, what's your guilty pleasure? You know, it might be different. Well, probably nowadays it'll be Coke or something. I don't know what kids do in their free time nowadays. TikTok and meth. I thought that's what
I was
the
going to say TikTok.
TikTok and meth.
TikTok and meth. That's
it.
a band waiting to happen.
Oh, 100% you know that's a band.
just the natural progression of Netflix and chill. It's now
TikTok and meth.
Netflix and chill. Prime Video and Coke.
TikTok and meth.
TikTok and meth. No, but it's true though, because like
And then it's going to be like OnlyFans and heroin to top it off.
OnlyFans and heroin. No, but it's true though, isn't it? I mean, now you're right. I think it's a different question for different generations, isn't it? I think
definitely.
now people are becoming more and more liberal and more open and more comfortable with just being who they are. So I
Yes.
think the word guilty pleasure is like, meh.
No, I'd agree.
That's my professional grown-up opinion, Phil.
Nah.
Meh.
So that's the
Nah.
question then. Okay, so like, you know, if we've established that we no longer feel guilty about pleasure, what is the thing that you like felt that way about when you were a teenager and more self-conscious? That's
So
an
again,
interesting
the
one.
Girls Aloud thing still stands. I think I'm trying to think. You know what? This is gonna sound okay, right? You're probably gonna get this. I don't know if you two will, because I don't fully know your history with this kind of thing. Like fan fiction.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
About real people, Andrew?
No, just fan fiction in general. Because like
Are
some.
you sure?
Because excuse me.
You mean porn fan fiction?
Morning dew.
Fanny
Yes.
fiction, if you will. Dictation.
Well, no, because it's like some of it's really hot and then some of it's just really crap.
No, I actually...
But like, you know, sometimes fan fiction's really hot, and if it's very well written.
They used to have it on... Do you remember DeviantArt?
Oh,
Yeah,
DeviantArt. I don't know, Liz, did you ever see that online? DeviantArt used to be a thing where people...
Oh, DeviantArt.
Yeah.
I still go on there.
Is it still a thing?
Yes,
Is it
oh,
still?
yeah.
Oh my god.
I've had a DA account for at least
Mine's
a
got to have
decade and a
closed
half now.
by now. But they used to have loads of fan fiction on there, didn't they, actually?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another one
And
as
loads of
well.
smut.
And again,
Love a good smut.
maybe a lot of you will be able to relate to this, I don't know, but like, for lack of better words, really trash reality TV.
See, can't relate because I've never been into that.
No.
But I did for a brief period in my teens watch a little bit of Made in Chelsea, and I understand
Yeah.
the appeal.
Yeah.
Because it's just pretty people
Yes. Yeah.
getting into all kinds of shit with each other.
It was like
and
seeing...
it's not the kind of stuff that's affecting anybody that I know.
Yeah, it's like seeing another
So-
half of a different half of society as well, because they were like so ridiculously well off.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
fantasy. It's like
Yeah.
these people are not real.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
The only thing I watched Made in Chelsea for, because I watched it semi-regularly back in uni, was Mark Francis.
Oh
Because-
yeah, he's the one who was like, I'm sorry, I've got people to see and things to do, and I'm afraid it's none of you, but do have a marvellous time.
Mark.
That's the only quote I ever know from Made in Chelsea. It's because of him.
Oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
Oh,
he's
shit.
the guy who has a sort of maid lady who follows him around,
He looks like a caricature.
He will buy things. He will go into shops and buy things like, yes, I'll take that, and then he just walks off and leaves her to pay for everything.
Shitting hell, wow.
I think
He has a lot of trust in that lady.
Yeah.
a couple of ones I've come up with as well before I pass it over is I think anime for a bit.
Yes.
Like
Yep.
anime, a lot of geeky stuff.
Yes.
No, I wouldn't necessarily guilty pleasure. Like I've never been guilty about loving Doctor Who and like
Yeah.
nerdy stuff. But like it was the uncool thing to be into. Whereas
Yeah.
I think nowadays, like especially now, it's actually quite, for lack of words, cool
It is,
to be
it's
into
trendy
that kind
now.
of thing now.
Yeah.
Same with like, I guess I've never really felt guilty about this because by the time I got into it, it was like a massive phenomenon that everyone loved. But I guess Drag Race as well, because that's, you know, for lack of better words, that is still by definition reality television.
That's true,
And a lot
yeah.
of it is very scripted and staged. But like, I still love it.
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
I still find it really fun to watch.
How long has it been on TV now, Drag Race?
About 12 years now.
That's
I think.
really shitting hell.
But it only really like got big around like season 6, I want to say.
Yeah, not too long ago, was it?
That's about 6-7 years ago, roughly. What about you, Liz? What would you say is yours? Like from when you were a teenager?
Okay, I'm just gonna go on a really long fucking tangent about Twilight now. Because I tried to think of something less basic, but I think that is probably the reason why that's my answer, because, okay, so, like you were saying, with, like, anime and stuff like that being the quote-unquote nerdy thing, and, like, now it's more acceptable. So I was into all sorts of stuff like that as well, but conversely, I kind of wore that, like, armour. So it was kind of like, yeah, I'm into uncool stuff, but I don't care. I'm different.
I'm not like other girls.
Yeah, she says with the
No.
misunderstood fringe.
So, and I think when I first got into Twilight, like, I got into it just before it really, like, peaked in popularity. So, like, it was still a little bit weird to be into vampires at the time. And I was just like, oh yeah, I'm so cool, I'm so different, I like vampires, and then it just exploded and suddenly everyone was into it. But like, I still liked it, and at the same time, you know, with its popularity growing, all the haters came out, and like, you know, all like, you know, people criticizing it for like how like anti-feminist it is and how problematic it is and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And so I was like in this catch-22 where deep down I really did fucking love this thing, but I didn't want to look like a basic bitch. So like, you know, to my face, and like, you know, like, you know, I would have like said, oh yeah, no, it's like it's really stupid, and Edward's so creepy, Meanwhile, I'm like on the sidelines writing this self-insert fanfic about like, with my little self-insert character forging a relationship with Carlisle, because even then I was into daddies. And, I think he may have been the first. And,
the first daddy.
would have been like the most inappropriate relationship, because I think I was 17 at the time. I mean, that's just reminded me of when we found all my Avengers fanfics.
I was struggling to make myself not mention that.
Where everyone was a nonce.
Yeah, oh my god. Literally,
Everyone was
the other
in
week we did a video call and we found her old Avengers fanfiction and we reread it. And my god, you are right, everyone is a nonce. It's nuts.
I mean, forget about Twilight. Let's talk about that. So, like, I got really into Avengers when I was around 16, and like, this was entirely because of Tom Hiddleston. I am led by my vagina and raging passions. Like, you know, don't give a fuck about the story. And so,
Led by my vagina. That's the name of your biography.
I had this really in-depth, really like, so there were multiple stories in this universe, right? And I had like a whole like 10-story like saga planned out. Like, I never finished it, but it was like this self-insert thing called Avengers Academy. There is actually a comic series called Avengers Academy that I did not know about at the time. It has nothing to do with that, but it is basically the same premise. So like, it was me, him, and like our friend Emma, and then like 2 OCs and Spider-Man.
For the purpose of the tape, when she said him, she pointed to me.
For the purpose of the tape.
This is before Spider-Man was in the MCU as well,
Yeah.
and like, we were like being trained up as the next Avengers, And I was 17 at the time, but like, I had a massive thing for Loki, so I just wrote in some stuff between us. And like, you know, when you're a 17-year-old writing about yourself in that situation, it's like, it doesn't seem that bad because it's you and that's what you want. But like, going back and reading it, it's like, oh damn, this is nonsense.
I love it.
This is not okay. Red flags.
And when we were reading it back, we were both just sort of sat there like, oh my god, what did you create? And also, just jumping back to Twilight a moment, just to throw my two cents in there. Now that I'm grown up as well, I feel so sorry for the Twilight fans, because I know, even though I maybe wasn't the most vocal about it, I know that I was part of that group who was like, oh, Twilight, shit. Why would you like Twilight? Because I was a teenage boy.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
And I
yeah.
didn't want to look like a, you know, like a...
Nonce.
I mean, to be fair, I was never into Twilight. I've never been into Twilight. But, like, looking back, I kind of wish that I'd have had a bit of maturity to be able to go, you know, people can just like it. That is fine. They can like it. There's nothing wrong with that. But no, I was an 11, 12-year-old boy who was bullied enough as it was, so I had to be like, oh no, Twilight sucks, And looking back, I'm like, I regret being like that. I hate that I was part of that crowd.
Part of the learning process, though, isn't it?
What about you two?
I think mine would have been makeup, because I grew up in the era of the crusty addict lips.
Oh,
so you know what I mean.
It's bad that I know exactly.
You know exactly what I mean, and all the people listening to this who is of the same age will know exactly what I'm talking about. And it's where you put the foundation on your lips, but your foundation could not, under any circumstances, be the colour of actual skin, or be the same colour as your neck. It could not be that colour. It could not match. That was not allowed. And you had to do it. You had to cake it on. You had to have, like, it was either, there was no eyeliner. It was always like either blue lids, pink lids, white fucking eyeshadow, and then like clumpy ass mascara. And then sometimes you had blusher, but not usually. It was just like orange and with a nice jawline.
See, I'm just picturing Waterloo Road.
Basically, yeah, that's what it was. But like crusty lips. And
see, I narrowly escaped this, and I think it was for two reasons. Firstly, it was because of my, I'm so different, I'm not like other girls, I'm not gonna do that because that's what the basic bitches do. But also, I had really, really bad acne as a teenager. And like, I you know, thought about this, and I thought, well, it is gonna get so much worse if I'm just clogging up my pores like that. So I'm just not gonna bother.
See, mine was like caught in the middle, because I have really awful skin, and obviously back in school I had like really dry eczema skin, so I never had the issue with spots. But you know, when you're caught in the middle where you're thinking, right, I can either be this orange face, and that's all I have as a makeup standard, or I can do what Marilyn Manson does and just draw lion eyes out of black eyeliner. So Panda Eyes it was.
And I
definitely had a brief period of Panda Eyes.
Oh, 100%. Panda Eyes or the cake. And I was I leaned towards wanting to have the orange face because everyone had the orange face. You know, that was just standard for makeup as a kid. But then obviously, luckily, I was weird and went with all the goths, so I just sort of settled with having the ridiculous Panda Eyes.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to try it the other way, but at one point I'd like kind of labelled myself.
Yeah.
So if I tried anything, it was really embarrassing to try something different and really weird. So my guilty pleasure was like trying
doing your makeup that way.
Which wasn't. It did not look good. And I'm so glad there's no photographic evidence of just...
Phil, how did you do your makeup in school?
Panda Eyes or orange face?
Well, you see, what I did was, because we lived in the country at the time...
Always a country girl.
I just went outside and I rolled around on the floor and then I was done.
That was your guilty pleasure?
No, that was
That's
my
how
makeup.
makeup.
That was my
Oh,
makeup.
sorry, yeah, I missed that.
There was no guilt in that.
Purely pleasure.
No, that was pure.
And that's why they called you Manuri Phil.
A name that haunts me to this day. But
Guilty
for me,
pleasure,
see, don't know if you've noticed, but I'm a little bit weird.
No.
I thought you were going to say gay. Which is also
I
true.
have a hint of the homosexual.
Just a sprinkling, if
Just
you
a
will.
sprinkling of sodomite.
A
Cover
zhuzh
that,
of...
Liz.
A sprinkling of sodomy.
Yeah.
A zhuzh of gay.
That's your first fragrance, a sprinkling of sodomy. For the purpose of the tape, Phil is making a creepy smiling face.
For the purpose of the tape.
I've watched too much Line of Duty. You didn't,
Quiet, aren't we?
you didn't hear that. He just leaned right into the mic and just went, "Let the essence flow."
By
I mean, in
Phil.
all fairness, I thought you were going to lean in and just go, "Bottom."
Plunge.
See,
Plunge.
I don't have much in the way of guilty pleasures because everything that I did was pleasure. But
Liz
no,
needs to see his face. You need to turn him so she can see.
everything that I did
There you go.
when I was a teenager was
Do you want to-
just silly and fun, and there was not a lot that I felt overly guilty about. There was a few video games that was like, oh god, these are shit, I shouldn't really play these with other people, they don't need to know how I live. But the one thing that is a little embarrassing that I am going to tell you all about now is that I used to run, and it's gone now, the site that hosted it
So
died,
don't try googling it.
that died about a decade ago.
Says she's googling it.
No,
I'm ready.
trust me, I tried to find it so that I could revitalise it
Oh,
a few
okay.
years ago. This is, I used to run a Sonic the Hedgehog fan page. Oh, it gets worse. Which was mashups of Sonic music, but they were really, really badly edited.
Oh, did you make them?
Oh, I edited them together. And at one point, I thought it would be really good to add sound effects. So I would just have like Sonic making little noises or rings and extra lives, but the levels were not set. So if you heard, especially if you were listening with headphones on, you would hear a ring being collected, but it would break your fucking ears.
So you just got.
Yeah, pretty much. And granted, I did try and do some cross-fading and stuff with some of the songs. Just that sounds kind of like, you know, like a thing that someone who wants to know what they're doing is doing.
Yeah, it's practice.
Certainly nowhere near even amateur level. It's just noise. It was just me throwing noise, and these got a fair bit of traction. That's the embarrassing part. People liked this shit.
That's not embarrassing if people liked it.
At the day, it had.
It was just him on alternate accounts.
This is brilliant! With a wig on.
With a wig on.
A pair of glasses with a moustache on.
My name's Phyllis French, and I love these Sonic mix-ups.
Hey, Dark Shadow 69 was nothing to do with it.
69.
Of course it was Shadow.
But no,
He is pretty fit.
Oh, his little chest ruffle. It's just. Oh, I would run my fingers through that all.
That hedgehog could get it. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry.
That's no
Actually-
guilty pleasures, fictional characters.
Funnily enough, I had a section planned for that in a future recording.
Yeah, fucking fictional characters, man. But yeah, that actually sounds pretty impressive because I could not have ran a website.
It wasn't a website. It was just a page on a website.
You
That's
know,
still
that's
impressive.
reminding me of the
It was a
little
bit
like.
like a MySpace.
You're
but
gonna,
it
you know
wasn't
what I'm gonna
MySpace.
say, Andrew.
I know what
But
you're going to
like-
say because when Phil mentioned he used to run a website, I automatically thought the same thing.
So like this was going way back. I must have been about 10, but like I came to school one day and like one of my friends at the time said like, oh, I just made my own website, and I was like, oh my god, how did you do that?
So
and it was
cool.
just like this little hosting site where you could essentially just make a blog on it. But we all thought it was the coolest thing. So like I made one, but like I wanted mine to be cool. So like I looked at hers, and hers was all like text speech on it.
Oh.
So like, you know, like just with like twos instead of the word
Yeah.
two, and like, you know, just it was atrocious basically, but I wanted mine to be like that.
Yeah.
So like my URL was hanging without a G with a V, Liz.
Class. Oh, that's a class act. That is.
Hanging with Liz.
Yes. Yeah. Did you have like one of those S's that were drawn with the 6 sticks as well?
Oh,
No, but I
man.
would have if it wasn't digital.
No.
was this the site that Spaghetti Bolognese ended up on?
Yeah.
So, oh
Yes, it
my
was.
god, we have a story for.
Yeah, because like so on this little website thing, you had a blog section, and
Yeah.
me and my friends, we tended to like post one like every month or whatever, and it was just the stupidest thing. It'd just be like, "Hi, just got home from school, lol. Gonna have my tea in a bit. This month, I want you to tell me your favourite food in the comments." So like on one of my friends, she'd put that, and I'd put that my favourite food was spaghetti bolognese, but I couldn't spell. Well, I either couldn't spell or like I was just trying to do the text speech version of
Oh, okay.
spaghetti bolognese. I don't
Okay.
know. But like many years later, I decided to like that this would be fun to show Andrew when we were both drunk in Nottingham, and we were in bed and like scrolling through, not like that, scrolling through it. We found spaghetti bolognese, which is
And I you know when people say rolling on the floor, I literally fell off of my bed, creased with laughter.
Spaghetti what?
Spaghetti Bolognese!
Spaghetti bolognese. It's just the French version.
Oh, God.
It's just the French version.
We've been talking about that for a while. Do you want to give us your mini game?
Yeah. Do you want to play a game? I got a game.
Yes, the game is fun.
Sure.
It'll be a learning curve because it was a learning curve for me. It's fact or fiction.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
I've got. My book smells like gin.
So, just for both Lizzie and the listeners, just before we start, well, just as we were setting up to record, Sarah put her drink down on the table, but missed the table completely and just chucked it on the floor, and it went all over her notebook. So now her pages smell like pink gin.
It's great. Can you smell it? Pink and gin.
Oh, it does smell a bit like gin, doesn't it?
I know. Yes. Are you? Yeah. Fact or fiction? So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
Fact or fiction? So you can
Hit
have
us
to
with
guess.
it.
Yeah. So first one, fact or fiction? It takes 50 minutes to cook an ostrich egg.
Fiction.
Fiction.
Fiction? What do you say,
I'm
Liz?
gonna say fiction because like I've cooked goose eggs and they don't really take any longer than chicken eggs. So
It's true.
What?
It
It
takes
is true.
50 minutes, 50, to cook an ostrich egg. You think how big an ostrich egg
Yeah, but
is?
how are you cooking it?
With
Actually, yeah,
heat.
that depends.
I gathered that bit.
To hard boil one.
Oh, see, I was
right,
okay,
I was
so
thinking about
hard boil,
frying.
that makes more sense.
50
Frying it,
minutes
I
less
wouldn't
than
think so,
No,
because you
you
just
would
crack it in a
expose
pan
them.
and it's like an omelette.
Yeah, but they are massive eggs.
They are
They're
very big,
huge
yeah.
eggs. Kylie Minogue
Oh,
wrote, "I should be so lucky" in 20 minutes.
fact.
I feel like that could be true.
Yeah?
She could be
Okay.
said what she was.
Having
Yes,
written a
true,
song
yeah.
in 20 minutes before,
Yeah,
I think
to
that
be
could
fair,
be true.
you wrote the one for the podcast in like 30 seconds.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
also true.
What do you think, Liz?
I'm gonna say it's true.
It is true, because all the
Yeah.
fucking lyrics are I should be so lucky.
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 Yeah.
I should be so lucky.
In love.
In love. That's
Yeah.
all the fucking lyrics are. Okay.
Took more time for it to make that bubble
number
bath.
3. Yeah. Okay. So, McDonald's drive-thru was created for the army,
Ooh.
the US Army.
Facts. That sounds plausible.
Explain your reasonings, Philium.
It sounds like because army, they could be busy, called out to things, duty at any time, so they need prompt service. Not and for security purposes, so they don't have to get out of their vehicle.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'll agree with that. I think that's sound logic there.
Liz?
I think it sounds plausible, but I'm gonna say fiction just because the last two have been facts.
Yeah, I was also thinking of that.
This is a fact.
Aha!
So it was
Ah,
first
okay.
invented in Arizona near an army barracks, a US army barracks. And the law at
So
the
not a
time...
Polish one.
Not the Polish one, no. The Polish Arizona. Everyone's heard of the Polish Arizona. So what happened? The rule was at the time, that uniformed officers weren't allowed to wear their uniform in public areas. They were only allowed to wear it while on duty. So if they wanted to go to McDonald's to get something, they'd have to get changed, go in, get their burger, come out, get changed again. So the manager at that McDonald's came up with drive-through so that the army officers could stay in their vehicle and just collect their order and still stay in uniform without having to get undressed and dressed again.
And yet, drive-thrus nowadays are still not reinforced against Karens.
Yeah.
They were prepared for the army.
Oh,
for
yeah,
army
they were
use.
prepared. No one's prepared for
No
a
one's
Karen.
prepared for Karens,
No one's
though.
prepared for Karen. Okay. Hunting for unicorns is illegal in Michigan.
This is true. I know this is true, actually.
Okay, we'll
This-
go with
this-
this
Actually,
then.
Michigan?
This sounds quite convincing.
It might be a different state, actually. It might be a different state, but I think
Michigan.
it
It
is
is-
true for one state, but yeah.
What do you think, Andy?
Okay, I'll go fiction then, just because
Fiction?
these have all been true so far.
I bow to the greater knowledge of Lizzie.
Okay. It is fiction. It is actually illegal. It is actually legal, and you can get a license.
Oh!
Okay.
You can get a unicorn hunting license.
You can get a You can get a unicorn hunting license, and then it's completely legal to hunt unicorns in Michigan.
Not being funny, no wonder Trump got in. if that's the kind of logic we're working with.
Well, you never know.
This
Yeah.
is very silly. Everybody knows that they only dwell on the ethereal plane.
No, they'll visit the gays.
Oh, that's true. During Pride.
Occasionally.
They only show their faces if you're extremely homosexual.
Birds are the main reasons for power outages in the US.
Yes.
Birds.
Birds.
I'm thinking yes because it's them landing on the power lines, isn't it?
What?
I don't
No,
know.
because landing on the power lines doesn't affect it.
Actually, yeah, that's true, because otherwise we'd be screwed as well. They get a lot more storms than we do, to be fair.
It's true.
Maybe like raccoons, like digging up the wiring.
That's a good point. No, yeah.
I don't know, I'll go fiction.
Like-
I'll go fiction.
Fiction.
I'm gonna say fiction because I think it's sharks.
I was just. So Phil's going with land sharks. What do you think's the biggest cause then?
Probably
Andy?
like storms or something, or
Storm?
just
Okay.
because they have much more like
weird weather.
weird weather, much
Yeah.
more erratic weather than we do.
Yeah. Go on, Liz. What do you
Does
think?
it mean like power outages on a big scale though, or
Big
like,
and small scale, just in
just
general.
on one home?
Just as
I'm
like.
gonna go with fact
Yeah.
because I feel like a bird could get like into your power supply in a home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like not like on a grand scale.
Okay. It is actually fiction. Squirrels are the biggest reason for power outages in the US, and there is actually squirrel statistics on the amount of times that squirrels have interfered with the electricity supply in the US.
How is that
Squirrel
by chewing
statistics.
through like wires
Chewing
and stuff?
through, digging.
So I was closer with my raccoon theory.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were digging up lines, chewing lines, and they actually don't just chew the wires. They like to chew the the protective outer layers, and they like to use that for something. I don't know, but yeah,
Fair enough.
squirrels.
So it's not land sharks.
It's not,
Not
land
land
sharks.
sharks,
I'm afraid.
Phil.
I'm sure that's like the second biggest reason.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, look, you give it a Google. Actually, that's really weird because the next one, sharks are a bigger threat to humanity than vending machines.
Oh, that's fiction.
Fiction?
Fiction.
Oh, that is definitely fiction. yeah.
Fiction?
Yeah.
I've been around enough angry people
you
desperate
gonna
for a
say-
Snickers.
I thought you were going to say angry
Because they're
vending
not dead when
machines.
they're hungry.
I thought you were going to say angry vending machines.
That too.
I do not have change for a 5 pence.
Why is it a Dalek?
I don't know. My go-to angry robot voice is a Dalek, apparently.
It's even worse when you're in a train station and the vending machine just won't let you get to the platform
No.
without buying a packet of crisps and a bottle of water.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, you buy something, you're going to miss the 4 o'clock.
Holds a knife to
You're
you.
going to miss the 4 o'clock unless you take a packet of Doritos now.
Do you know what? I will admit I have been, what's it
Just
called?
sounds like
Robbed by a
machine gun
vending
volleying
machine.
cans of Coke at your legs to break your shins.
Pushes you into the front of a train.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a brilliant... That's giving me an idea for a story.
Oh,
Of course
dear.
it has.
The murderous vending machine.
Sounds like an episode on Simpsons, doesn't it? They had the... Oh no, Futurama, because they had that weird card, didn't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Although Homer did get his arm stuck in some vending machines.
He did.
Oh yeah, we watched that one.
Granted, he just wouldn't let go.
Yeah. Okay.
All right then. So what is it? What do you reckon?
I think we've all gone fiction.
All fiction, yeah, Liz?
Yes.
Yeah? It is fiction. You are twice as likely to be killed by a vending machine than a shark.
Because I imagine they can like fall and crush you and stuff.
Yeah, basically. And the amount of people that shake it, don't they, as well,
Yeah.
and then forget that, it's a fucking heavy machine.
Yeah.
Plus, you don't
Or someone
find many
could
sharks
just
in there.
poison each and every bottle of Sprite.
That would be a
Inside
nefarious
machine.
plot indeed.
How many
Not
bottles
that I
of
know
Sprite?
anything about that.
Not that I know anything about it. I've never thought about it ever. Hell will never freeze over.
Depends on if you think it
there are
exists or
layers
not.
to this.
Fiction.
There are layers to this.
Hey!
Was that a joke? I didn't.
Oh, the layers of hell.
Oh.
Is hell a cake?
Oh yeah.
Because it's the 7 layers of hell, isn't there? Or is it the 9 layers of hell? I
Levels.
can't remember.
7 circles.
Level.
It's
7
circles
circles.
of hell.
Thank you.
Okay.
You
No,
have
I
the
was-
chocolate sponge. You have
I
entered
was
the
just
nutty
going to
hell.
say that like there are layers to this. We have to deconstruct it because first of all, we're assuming that there is a hell. Secondly, we have to like think about the climate of that hell, and
Is it autumn in hell at that point?
No, I feel it's like thinking too deeply into it.
I'm gonna say. You said we'll never freeze over.
Hell will never freeze over.
Fiction, because there is a town called Hell that is in the Arctic Circle.
Yes!
Okay.
Yes, there is! Yeah,
Or-
fiction.
Or at least it's very far north. It might not be in the Arctic Circle, but it's quite far north.
Yeah, I'm with Phil on that.
Go on, Liz. What do you think?
okay, I'm gonna go with that.
You're gonna go with that. I think Liz was taking it at a nice intellectual level, and then you just went, no way.
That's how you solve any argument.
Liz has got a thesis
No
out. She's ready to define heaven and hell for the audience. She's fucking on it. She's cracking a degree out. No, but Phil is right.
Yay!
It's fiction. There is a town in southern Norway actually named Hell, which freezes over every winter. Look at that.
Marvellous. We
Well
should-
done.
We should do a special from there. Coming to you live from Hell.
Where
I'll
we're
be back
sat
for
on
the
the
theology episode.
theology episode. Okay, lobsters can communicate with their bladders.
I mean,
the
does
last
everyone?
one.
This is true.
I feel like this is true. I think I've heard about this before.
I know me and
But
Andrew
is that
certainly
just
do.
as like rudimentary as like pissing on each other?
That's only on
Because
Saturday
we do
night.
that.
That's only when the shower season starts.
I'm gonna say
That's when all the
true.
kinky lobsters come out.
They've just got rainbows on their belly.
Puppy masks.
Seahorse mask.
Oh yes, that would be it.
Go on then, what do you think?
I'm saying
Just a
true.
lobster lubing its claw up for fisting.
Lobster lube.
What would a lobster use for lube?
A sea slug.
Yeah, that would work. That would work.
I think.
Ink, yeah.
Yeah, ink maybe.
Let's see. Oh, what was the question?
Lobsters
Oh,
communicate
yeah.
with their bladders.
Oh yeah, communicate with their bladders.
I'm gonna go with fact.
Yeah, I'm
that's
thinking
it.
fact.
Fact.
That sounds
It is a fact. They actually pee on each other.
Oh,
Wow, I was
Be a
right. There we
lobster.
go.
There you are. There you go. And that's my Google history fucked over. I tell you that.
How did you find these facts? Did you just Google, do lobsters piss on each other?
Just weird
I'm-
facts.
I'm always glad of the sacrifices you make for us.
My Google search history makes for you.
Your internet provider's going, what the fuck is she doing?
I told you I will be happy once the searches on Google increase on have Jaffa Cakes change their packaging.
Catching. Oh, God.
Yeah, so I think I didn't keep track of scores. Sorry, I should have.
It's fine. We can argue about it later.
When hell freezes over.
So, before we bring this one to an end, because we have been going for a little while, Phil, we are starting I say starting a new segment. We technically started in the last episode, but we're officially making it a segment from now on, where at the end of every episode you provide us with a news headline with a fact blanked out for us to guess. So what have you got for us this week?
Well, Darren.
Darren?
Darren.
I'm claustrophobic, Darren!
it's been trying times for everyone over the past year. We ourselves have had an experience with fly tipping, with neighbours next door moving out and leaving a mountain of crap
A mountain of crap.
out in the communal car park area and overflowing bins and all of that.
Yes.
So, I put it to you. Is that a fish? A flower? No! It's 8 fly-tipped blanks floating in the pond.
Fish, a flower.
No, it's 8 fly. Is it tampons?
Oh, if only it were tampons.
No, if only.
Oh no, that's made me scared. That brings in the question: what is worse than tampons?
Oh, so many things.
Goodness. Depends how creative you want to get.
Is it a fish? Is it a flower? No, it's 8 fly-tipped.
To give you a clue, it's something that should be within the home.
Women?
Grandma.
8 grandmas floating in the pond.
They should be in the home, though.
I don't know if this will help narrow it down, but I should mention that this comes from the peterboroughmatters.co.uk. I think it's
Does
the,
it?
So it's a local Peterborough newspaper.
So dumb, I love it.
No, but this,
What are they fly tipping in Peterborough?
Isn't Peterborough a fly tip?
What, just the whole town is a fly tip?
I'm sorry, people from
I
Peterborough.
didn't expect. Oh, no one from Peterborough is listening.
They're too busy burrowing their Peters. That was so stupid.
Sorry, go on. I'm sorry. Fish, flowers, what was going off?
Lizzie,
Fly tipping.
any ideas?
Fetus?
Oh, fuck a duck.
Andrew?
Fuck a duck.
Buy egg!
In all my
Born naturals!
It's
Well,
me
I'm thinking about what could be mistaken for a fish or a flower, and like it says, is its natural state to be floating? So
Well, see, the funny thing is, when Sarah said what could be worse than, or when you said what could be worse than tampons, I was thinking, oh, like dead baby or something.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
said, to be fair, it's not all along the,
Yeah.
I thought I won't say that because,
I never
I
said
don't
it was worse
want to
than
scare
tampons.
Liz that and she meant fucking dead baby.
I never
Jelly
said
cakes.
it was worse than
Jelly
tampons. I just said if only it were tampons.
Okay.
You all took that to mean it was something far.
Phil is
more
just a colossal pervert.
sinister.
we
You
can all
should
take that
see
home
my,
today.
Used dildos.
Oh, there was a story I found about used dildos,
Yeah.
but it is not this one.
Oh.
And do they float?
Depends on the silicon ratio.
And their usage.
I'm not even surprised you know that, Phil.
Is it like jelly or something? Like,
8 floating
I
jellies.
certainly hope these aren't made of jelly.
oh
because
god.
that would be
Okay.
an interesting experience at best.
Fake boobs.
Is that a fish? A flower? No, it's 8 fly-tipped toilet seats floating in the pond.
I have so many questions. Who has that
Who's
many
got
toilets?
8 toilets?
Yeah, who's got
Exactly.
in Peterborough?
Are the royal family using Peterborough to dump their shit?
8 fly-tipped toilet seats were pulled out from a nature pond in the Outages in Peterborough. Fly tipping is a big concern around Peterborough, from mattresses to fridges to even tyres being dumped on pavements and by the roadside in something we have sadly been spotting. But there was an unusual sighting at a nature pond last week in the Outages when Orton Waterville Parish Councillor Kirsty Knight pulled out not 1 or 2 but 8 toilet seats from Debdale Pond in Orton Waterville. The seats were reported to be floating in the pond. A local resident informed Green Councillor Julie Howell about it last Sunday, March 21st, so this is going back a while. The pond, described as a hidden gem, is situated within woods in the Waterville village. It is a familiar spot for locals who come along for a walk with their dogs, and apparently a spare toilet seat.
Is it called Debdale Lake because a man called Dale and a woman called Debbie died trying to fuck in it?
The best part is there is a picture of
Said toilet
I
seats.
believe Councillor Julie Howell fishing out these toilet seats from the pond.
Oh, she don't look too happy about that.
Wow.
She looks very happy.
Gosh, she is
8
not
toilet
impressed. She
seats.
looks like Miss Trunchbull.
She
Yes.
does.
Were they doing synchronised
I mean that with
flushing,
the
or-
utmost respect. Like,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to mess with it.
No.
But next to that tree in the background, you can just see another one floating.
Jesus
It's just
Christ!
Yeah.
8
just in
toilet seats. To be
just below
fair,
that tree, you can
8
see
of
one
anything
floating
is a
in
bit
the water
weird.
very faintly.
Yeah, I'm just like,
Lurking.
who has 8 toilet seats?
Ready to emerge.
I have
Yeah.
a feeling that they were playing. This is how the people in Peterborough play hoopla, but they do it in a lake.
Skipping toilet seats.
So, that has been it for this week's episode of the We Pay For Your Floor podcast. I have been Andy.
I've been Phil.
I
have been Dame Maggie Smith.
I've been Sarah.
And until the next episode, we will see you again.
I shall endeavour to pop upstairs and be the best neighbour that I can remember.
It's been a while since you've done the outro, it's fine.
Yeah.
You better.
Because we pay for your floor.
I don't, though.